So ladies and gentlemen, today we're book reviewing a book by one and only Silas Nyanchwani. The title is Sexorcised, and this is Stella K. You're welcome. First of all, maybe for the sake of introduction, you can introduce yourself to the people.
Okay, Silas Nyanchwani, formerly a journalist and now a published novelist.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anything, are you entangled? Nini?
No.
Ama we skip that one.
We can skip that one and ask it maybe once you're done.
Okay, before you came to be an author, maybe you can tell your people the journey you have been as a writer for the dailies and the local newspapers.
Yeah, I started writing in 2007, just before I joined campus, and I started writing for The Nation and The Standard. Just as a regular contributor and freelance writer. And then I worked as a senior staff writer for the Standard Group from 2013 up to last year. And then last year I quit the newsroom. And now I'm focusing on writing books.
Okay.
And now this is like the first novel.
Okay. Maybe you can tell the viewers some of the columns that you had. Maybe because of Mezisoma, but they don't know it's you.
Yeah, I've had like 3 columns. One with the Nairobian. I had it for like 6 years.
Yeah.
It was called the Retrosexual, where basically I was this traditional, chauvinist, like the man who pined for the good old days when men were men and women were women. And then I had another one called The Bad Boy, in the Standard's Eve Woman magazine. Yeah. So just a column where I was acting like this rogue bachelor. And then later on I married, and it was partly fictional but also partly factual. I used my own experiences to write in that column. And I had another one where I was inspiring university students. In the Standard they used to have like this magazine called Hashtag for university students. So I had a column there that I was just advising university students on how to go about life. Yeah. So
for those kwa wale ambao they follow you on Facebook, they probably know about your memos. So far tuko memo number?
We are at memo number 11, and I'll resume with memo number 12 very soon. Yeah. And also
basically what inspires the memos, because I see a lot of people like they really agree with you. So probably you should consider kulizia kiti ya ubunge.
No, the memos were, I realized that most men, there's a sort of like a broken relationship between men and women. And it's as a result of a broken relationship between younger men and older men. So older men have not been there to inspire younger men. And there are different circumstances why it's like that. And I felt like there's a gap to help men explain who a woman is. Nobody really knows who women are. But from the little that we know, I felt like we should share with the men, because I see everyday men getting divorced, women playing or doing bad things for men, and men really can't internalize these things. And I just felt like I should just start this conversation with men. And but the aim is not like to create this controversy or conflict between men and women. The aim is just to understand each other, both women to understand men and men to understand women. Yeah.
So now let's talk about Sexorcised. So what's the inspiration between the whole book?
Sexorcised was, I just noticed on Facebook today that I started writing this novel last year, exactly this day.
Okay.
And the whole idea about Sexorcised came from, I was teaching a creative writing class at the Creatives Garage in Hurlingham, Nairobi. And I was teaching my students how to write a shocking introduction. And then that first line of the book just came to my head, and you're like, you want to shock someone from the word go, they're pulled into the book.
I was really
and
shocked.
Then from there now, I had now to start answering question, why is this man getting divorced? Who is this lady? And then down the line, I then now started like working like on the content of the book, and then I remember running into a DO. They're called now county commissioners.
Yeah.
Was telling me a story about a pilot and I don't know an engineer who were fighting over the custody of a child, where the mother of the child was playing both of them for child custody, and I felt like okay, there's something going on there. And around the time I read I think a Bikozulu blog about DNA test, and I felt like that can be a good story, why a man is divorcing a woman, and now that's when I came with the story, and then it just grew organically, and then I just took this man, and he's a middle class man, well-to-do, and then after he's divorced, what happens? So that's why I came up with the novel. So that was like the inspiration.
So maybe we can say, is it fiction or non-fiction?
It's entirely fiction.
Okay.
But obviously fiction borrows from life.
Yeah.
And sort of like each story, like each of the many stories in the book, have been inspired by somehow real life experiences, but everything is fiction.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why did you choose such an evoking title?
I realized like as a man when you divorce, the constant advice from anyone would be like now that's now purely from a male point of view. I don't know about women, but for a man, once you divorce, everyone will be like, get a young woman, marry, get a young woman, marry her, go have all the sex you want to have, you know, like a sort of like to heal, you know. And there's a way that I feel like when you're in love or in marriage, like all of us have demons in us. And these demons, like we have to exercise, you know. So some will go to church, some will take to alcohol, and this our guy now uses sex to get over his demons.
Okay.
So I combined the two words, sex and exorcised. So he's just using sex to get sexorcised.
So maybe that's the reason why the first few pages have a lot of sex language and all that.
Yeah. It's you know, the book is entirely about pain and how this man is internalizing this pain. Yeah. But it's also about how spontaneous and random Nairobi is. Like you can be divorced today and marry the woman that very night, and life goes on, you know. So that's why the book just starts with a bang, from a very high note. Yeah, but that now sets the stage for what the book is all about. Yeah. So
and you in your characters, they're mostly in. You've used the Gusii language, the Gusii tribe. Maybe you can tell us about that, because I think it's basically set in.
Yeah, so the main character is a Kisii man, who was born into this rich family, and is going to be this rich guy. Like you can talk about like the perfect middle class Kenyan. And I felt like being a Kisii, and we don't get many books written about from our place. You know, we do have other writers, and like Tony Mochama. His last novel, the 2063, The Last Mile Project, also used Kisii characters, and I felt like it's time now we started coming out and just talking about ourselves, you know, as a country, as a tribe, and the book actually talks about all the tribes in Kenya, but now being a Kisii, I felt like I should now talk to who, as Kisiis, who are we, you know, where is Kisii right now in Kenya? So that's why like I decided like the character has to be Kisii, but he has to marry from another place, and you know, like the modern Kenyan family and how it is. Okay.
So, and this book, can it be, I don't know, maybe because of the language and...
You're wondering whether it can be like a set book?
Not even a set book.
Yeah.
Can it be read by the younger generation, like?
Yeah, and anybody who's like of adult age, like anybody who's like...
Are you sure, are you really sure that parents are ready for that conversation? Because, I don't know, for some reason...
I don't know, but
even the title and the words and the strongly used words, do you feel like people are ready to let their kids and their younger adults read the book?
I'm not the first person to write a book that is vulgar or that uses the F word so much or has a lot of sexual scenes. Older generations might remember David Mailu. He used to write a lot of I can't call them vulgar, but books that were erotic in nature back in the day. I don't know about like the 70s and the 80s. And in between there have been other books that have the kind of, you know, the only difference with my book is that for the first time now I think we have someone who's just willing to go and just be vulgar and be crude as possible. But like I'm just borrowing the language that we use daily, you know, like if you go to people's inbox and the way we talk in the bar, you know, that's what I'm just borrowing. So the book is like real in terms of like the street, like a typical middle class guy. That's how they go about their life. You know, it's vulgar, it's sex and everything. And then I saw women read a lot of 50 Shades of Grey. You know,
true,
that kind of stuff. So we can no longer like pretend like these things don't happen. Yeah. So I hope that from here now people can write more freely. They can express themselves much more freely.
That being said, then are we ready to tap it into a film?
I don't know if someone can. I do believe that it's a book that can actually be made into a film. I'm not sure about the scenes about sex, but because that can really make it be pornographic. But as a story of divorce and pain and everything, as a story of one man, I believe it can be a very good tale.
So the book is newly out. Maybe you can tell the people where they can find it, your social media handles, or any store that.
Yeah, so the book is out, and it's readily available in Nairobi, and we're delivering it to every place in Kenya. At the moment it's 800, but maybe in another week or so it will be retailing at around 1,000 shillings, and then you'll take off your delivery charges. It's about 200 to 300 bob to get it to most places in Kenya, whether you're in Western Kenya, Coast, Eastern, wherever. With the courier services, it's about 200 to 300 shillings. I saw with Easy Coach, it's 300 shillings. This shuttle is about 200 shillings. Yeah, so it's readily available everywhere. You can get it anywhere you want it.
Okay. Last word for your men. Sisi tutajitetea tu.
Yeah, I know for men, these things, like what I'll tell men, that these things are coming their way. You either be prepared and fight and make your marriage work, or in the event it doesn't work, know that you can always start over. And the book is basically not to misadvise people generally, but just know the kind of choices that you make, there are always consequences. Yeah, and I hope everyone will enjoy reading the book as much as I enjoyed writing it.
Okay, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that was our time. Until next time, my name is Stella. Okay.